Off this title alone, I want to talk about it. When it comes to sales, when it comes to converting, views do not have a direct correlation with conversion. I want you guys to take it in. I'm going to say it again. Views do not have a direct correlation to conversion. What does is connection. Connection has a direct correlation to conversion, right? So just because we're getting a lot of views does not mean we're going to be converting a lot, right? I was at a space, and you guys seen, if you scroll back into my reels, I was pulling millions to hundreds of thousand views every single time I posted. At the same time, when I never was doing online fitness coaching, bro, I was making nothing, literally nothing from posting, right? So views do not have a direct correlation to conversion. What does is connection. Connection has a direct correlation to conversion. So what should we be focusing on? Views or connection? Connection. Right? And now I'm not saying this to tell you that views are not important, because the more views we get, as long as we have content that formulates connection, then those views are coming in and they're building connection. Bang, right? But ultimately, our focus should always be on connection. All right, but let's go to the next slide. So, why building relationships with your audience actually matters. So, building relationships with your audience is essential for converting followers to clients, right? Followers to clients, very different things. Clients are paying you for whatever you're offering, followers are just following you, right? Trust and connection form the foundation that moves them from interested to a client. So, the in between factor, the in between, the missing variable from someone being your follower or being a view to being your client is trust and connection. That's the variable in between, right? So, let's say Harry needs this variable in order to become a client. And what this variable is trust and connection. Make sense? Y'all with me? This is why we post what we do now when it comes to, the deep beliefs, right? This is why we're trying to resonate with people on a deeper level, because I want you guys to understand, if we're talking to let's say a girl, right? In this manner, if we're talking to a girl and we're asking her surface level question after surface level question, hey, baby girl, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite car? You know what I'm saying? Yo, are we building trust? Are we building connection? Nah, right? But we ask her, what's your dream? Right? What are you scared of not accomplishing in this life? What are the things that get you motivated? Right? What's your relationship with your family? These questions formulate connection and trust. This is why I wanted you guys to start taking a deeper look into your content. And I want you guys to start thinking of your content on a deeper level, because that surface level stuff, it doesn't lead to connection or trust, right? And ultimately, the reason why we're going over to YouTube now, and I'm getting you guys to get on YouTube, is because, listen to this. Alex Hormozy says it takes 7 hours, and this is just a known metric. It takes 7 hours from someone to go from someone that's brand new to a paid client. You guys heard that before? Some of you, yes, maybe no, right? But people like to say it takes 7 hours worth of content consumption, for someone to actually become a paying client. And I want you guys to take this in. Instagram Reels allows you guys to post Reels up to 3 minutes long. No one here is posting Reels 3 minutes long, right? But even if your Reels were 3 minutes long, it would take someone to watch 140 Reels in order to consume 7 hours worth of content. Right now, we put it over into the YouTube aspect, right? The YouTube perspective. People come onto YouTube expecting to watch videos anywhere from 15 to 30 to even 45 minutes long, right? Now, when we're looking at that 7 hours and we're thinking about it, it's a lot easier for someone to consume 7 hours worth of YouTube content than someone to turn around and watch 3-minute videos 140 times, right? This is why we need to start utilizing both platforms, because they're both really good at different things. Instagram is great at bringing awareness, and once that interest is peaked, You send them over to your YouTube, where they're now shifting their beliefs, able to watch long form pieces of content where you can get into depth, you can actually give advice, you can actually provide value at a deep level. And guess what? It's like taking a girl out on a date, right? And we'll get into that another time. But YouTube is essentially like taking a girl out on a date. You're asking the deep questions, you're able to elaborate, you're able to show your side rather than try and shove it into 1 minute and 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? All right. So why building relationship your audience actually matters, right? It's because relationship is ultimately what leads to a conversion, right? All you guys wouldn't be here if you never rocked with me, and that's a fact, right? For you guys to sell, you got to look at how you got sold, right? My mentor that I just invested in, I've watched two YouTube videos of his, and I was on that call, and the moment he dropped the price, I'm like, here, take my numbers, right? He took the numbers of my card, he put it in. I watched two YouTube videos from him. But in those two YouTube videos, he was so direct with who he was speaking to, and it was me, right? I was his ICP, a Christian entrepreneur, right? And he spoke so deep into my situation that I trusted him after watching two YouTube videos. Crazy, bro, right? I'm telling you, successful people always think about how they got sold. It's very important, right? Because psychology at the end of the day, right? So, next slide, we are going into the dating analogy, like I said. So from prospect to buyer, from talking stage to girlfriend, right? So the first phase is identifying the prospect. The prospect is like, the girl that you're interested in. You like her, but there's no trust, right? You maybe followed each other, you maybe viewed each other's profile, but there's no relationship formulated, right? This is you now going into phase two, capturing peak interest. So Instagram symbolizes getting her number, sparking curiosity with authentic visuals that are appealing in terms of content. So we're watching surface level videos. I would still deem Instagram is still kind of surface because there's only so much depth you can get in a minute and 30. So it's like the talking stage essentially, right? You guys are kind of getting deep, but not really, right? Kind of hitting each other back and forth and back and forth. And then now in the third phase, this is where we're building deeper connection. And this is where we're utilizing YouTube. YouTube acts as the date where she learns who you are, fostering trust through consistent engagement, right? Consistent is key, right? A lot of you guys think it's going to be good after you post a couple videos, you built that trust. If they want to, see me, they can check it on my YouTube. YouTube is about consistency. Instagram still takes consistency. It's about showing up on a daily basis and being consistent. You want people to anticipate your next post, right? And ultimately, to sum everything up, as far as all of our content goes, the biggest thing, and honestly, if we have time, I'm gonna try and actually getting into another slideshow after this, where we talk about becoming your own market leader, right? Shoot, I might have to just run through two slides today. But here, let's see if we can go through this. Y'all with me though? Y'all with me? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Yeah, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, all right. So Instagram capturing peak interest, like getting a number, and this is already a module. So if you guys, you guys should be taking notes if you guys aren't. But I'm also gonna be posting this as a module coming out. So Instagram as curiosity spark, right? This is the spark factor. Instagram acts as a platform to spark curiosity and reel your ICP in, like getting the girl's number or sliding in the DMs, right? It's a start. Authentic visuals and appealing content. Success is depending on creating visually appealing and authentic content that genuinely engages and attracts your ICP, right? Like I said, Instagram from the jump, I told you guys, is for awareness, right? Bringing awareness and sort of sparking that relationship, sparking that connection, right? The connection is not really formulated. That they don't get to see enough of you unless you are deep into posting, let's say, belief-based content. But even then, it's not as deep as YouTube, as you guys all know. You guys all have favorite YouTube creators that you guys can watch all day, every day, right? But now, personalized engagement over generic messages. Avoid generic hooks, which you guys all know by now. This is why we go deep. This is why we talk about beliefs. This is why we don't post service level tips and tricks, because that doesn't help anyone or literally anyone, right? Personalized ones that are strategically targeted, referencing your specific ICP to build trust, right? All of you guys should be on this timing. And for those of you that haven't converted to posting that 80% nurturing / value based, I hope you guys are taking this in because this is the importance of it, right? Going back to the very start of this conversation, what converts and what is directly correlated with conversion? Someone say it.
Connection.
Bang. Okay. Perfect. Want to make sure you guys are listening. Good job, Charles. Next thing, the power of specific tailored messaging. And this is also we're going to go into a little bit of depth here, but we're going to jump over to another slideshow after, and I'm going to get into a lot of depth. So, limitations of generic messaging. Generic hooks / videos lack personal touch and is casting far too wide of a net. You're trying to be everyone's everything, and that's impossible. You end up being no one's nothing. You know what I'm trying to say? Value of personalization, videos catered to your ICP to show attention to unique details and make them trust you faster. Now, let's put it in perspective now. Let's put it some context to it. If I mention something, right? Charles, if I say something to you and it's something that has happened to you in your life, but it's so far deep in your closet, your mind, that even you forgot it, and I could level with you there and I could say something that's in that closet that you forgot about and unlock an old memory of yours, that is expediting the connection process, right? Because there's no one on Instagram, there's not a reel that came before this that leveled with you on that level to the point where I'm mentioning things from your past that shows so much understanding that no one else can relate. There's not a other creator that does that for you, right? And you're going to hear this reference later down the line, but essentially, we want to become market leaders. The way we become market leaders now is, let's put it in this perspective. We'll also use the girl analogy. Every other guy, every other coach is messaging this girl the same message, right? Let's say the emoji with the hard eyes. If we send her that same message, what is the likelihood of her actually responding? Very, very slim, close to none. She's gonna scroll right past. You know why? Because she's so used to it, right? Now, taking that into account, what about these online fitness coaches that only post those tips and tricks, only post how to lose 5 pounds in the next 30 days, only post here are my favorite cheat meals that fit in your caloric deficit. It's like the same message getting sent over and over and over again. You know what they are? I'm going to use a word and I want you guys, they're replaceable. They're replaceable. If they were to be gone tomorrow, there's another coach that can do exactly what they did. And that is the opposite of what we're trying to do. Now, when it comes to being a market leader, what this looks like is you not swimming with the other sharks, the guys that have been in the game longer than you, the guy that have, formulated more credibility than you, the guys that have more testimonials than you. This is how we separate ourselves now, is to create our own pond, right? So instead of swimming with the sharks and fighting for the same fish, we are now going to create our own pond, and we're going to be the biggest fish in that pond, the biggest shark in that pond. You know why? Because we don't have to swim with the sharks. All we have to do is become irreplaceable to one person to where we're the only option. There is no other option, right? And how do we do that now? That's the question. How do we do that? We be specific, right? I can sit here and I can use a whole bunch of terminology to, scatterbrain your minds, but it comes to being specific. Knowing your ICP so well that there is not another person that posts content with that level of understanding. Bang! That's the power of good content. That's the power of deep content, mind you, right? And at the same time, if we're posting content that level of depth, bro, that connection process, that trust process. You remember how I told you guys I got sold after watching 2 YouTube videos? He sold me on a $7,000 ticket with a retainer on every single month with the $700. And I tend up being with him for the next year. And it started with me watching 2 videos. That's the power of deeply transformative content. You know what I'm trying to say? He spoke to my heart. Literally, he spoke to my heart. And the thing is, the first video I watched from him was a video on God and business. It wasn't even a video on some nitty gritty, super specific, business related. I want to say like it was all mindset and belief, bro. Literally, how to navigate your business with God in the equation. And it wasn't going into figuring out your ICP. It wasn't going into any I want to say technicalities. It was all based on belief, right? So the power of content is unreal, and I like literally speak with so much passion as of right now because, bro, once you understand that you can change someone's life and build trust with someone over a piece of content, you start looking at your content a little bit differently. It's no longer just a box that you need to tick off every day, but it's like, yo, I have an opportunity to create connection with someone on the other side of the world right now, right? And ultimately, that connection, if I focus on it enough, it is going to lead to conversion. That's where a mind needs to be. But like I was saying, let's go back to the girl analogy. So all these guys are sending her, the emoji with the hard eyes, and they're all the same. Just like the coaches that say, "You're a busy man. You work a 9 to 5. You want to lose weight, build muscle. This is what you do. You know what I'm saying? This is what you eat, right? Like everybody else, you're the same. Ultimately, you're expendable. If you were to go missing, trust me, I could find another guy that's gonna help me, lose weight because I'm a 9 to 5 guy that's busy, and I need help. I can find another guy, find another coach. You're not that guy, pal, right? You're replaceable. Now, how you become irreplaceable? Getting back to what I was saying before I went down a rabbit hole, is posting content that is so specific, so understanding that no one else is leveling with that person on the level that you are. Now, if you were to go disappearing, you will be missed. You know why? Because no one leveled with that person like you did. No one understood that person like you did. So when I tell you guys to get a good understanding of your ICP, it's for this reason. It's so that we don't have to fight with everyone else for the same fish. But we understand our ICP so much on such a small scale to the point where we're the only option, right? So this may look like, if you're working with Christian men, for example, Christian men is a super, super broad circle, right? It's better than working with all men, right? It's more specific than that, but it's still a very broad circle. Now let's take it down a notch. I want to work with Christian men that want to lose weight, right? We took it down another notch. And at the end of the day, that's still a pretty big circle. Now, what if I say I want to work with Christian men that want to lose weight to be better fathers, right? Now we have our own pond. And those people that fit that description, bro, they're gonna feel everything that we say, right? It's about creating your own market, right? And if you're not going to niche down that specific, it's about creating content that goes deeper than everyone else's content. You guys with me? Make sense? Right? Because I know a lot of you guys is like, okay, if I go that specific, how am I supposed to get sort of general appeal, which is the right frame of mind to be in? It's like if we're making content for, that guy, that Christian man that wants to lose weight so he's a better father, the chances I build my following is pretty slim. And quite frankly, you're right. But that's why we have the 20% attention reels, right? Is to also focus on getting general appeal at the same time. Right. And also when it comes to those nurturing content, I don't want you guys to think, oh, I can't post, let's say, belief quote unquote based content that is aligned with all Christian men that are trying to lose weight. You definitely can, right? But make sure you have some videos in the mix that are speaking to that specific person, right? That's what it's about. Because ultimately, like I said at the beginning, views don't have a direct correlation to conversion. What does is connection. I rather get 100 views and get 10 people that really rock with me that end up being clients than 100,000 views and sign 5 clients from that video. Right now, I'm not saying views are a bad thing and we should be running from them. Obviously, getting more views is a good thing as long as we're making those views. We're building connection with those viewers, right? Is what I'm trying to say. So, anyways, back to here. Impact of tailored examples. Specific references build trust, resonate more effectively with your in your prospects in your ICP. Creating unique comment communication Unique content fosters deeper connections and encourages meaningful engagement, right? And this might look like a small thing, meaningful engagement. Okay, cool. Now, I want you guys to think about it like this. We post content on a deep level, right? And it's not surface level. Let's say someone likes that piece of content. They're liking it for a deep reason. Now, those of you guys that aren't doing inbound outreach, I'm going to give you guys some sauce. You should be acquainted with inbound outreach, but if you're not, you're missing out. But I'm going to help you guys out right now. So, we post deep content that's belief based, super transformative. Someone likes that piece of content. We now have an opportunity to get even deeper, already starting at a deep level because our content's already there, right? So when we send that message, let's say Matthew, he liked a video that I made about lust, and let's say he just liked it. I was gonna say, let's say he commented, but let's say he just liked it. Yo, Matthew, I seen you like the video I made about lust. What was it about that video that resonated with you, bro? Bang! The conversation's already deep. It's already deep. Think about these guys. Let's put it in another perspective now. Think about these guys that post surface level content. Let's think if you posted a surface level video and it was this is what you do to, I don't know, top 5 foods to eat, right? You got to start that conversation. Hey, Matthew, I heard I seen you like my video on the top 5 foods, right? Why? What made you like that? Man, I just really like that. Like, bro, you guys are starting here, right? You got to work all the way down. You got to converse with this guy for at least 10 times, going back and forth before you even touch a deep level, right? But that first example, you guys are already resonating on a deeper level. This is what I mean when I say deeply transformative content expedites the connection of building trust. Do you guys see it? Does it make sense now? It expedites all of the processes. So why not focus on building connection over everything else? Look, let's say Matthew commented on this video. Yo, Nigel, this video really hit. Simple comment like that. Yo, this hit. Right? Let's say you even said a fire. You know what I'm saying? Hit him up. Yo, Matthew, I seen you commented on my lust video. What was it about it that made it fire? Just because, I want to make sure I put out gas for you guys. Stuff that you guys like and resonate with. Bang. Already talking deep. What do you think he's going to say? Yo, bro, I've been honestly struggling with lust on a daily basis, bro. I go to the gym and I'm constant. Bro, that you know how deep someone has to level with you, and you're already starting there. You know how much conversation we would have had to have to get to that level? A lot. And you would have probably gave me 10 times more resistance because the content that I posted at first didn't resonate with you. Right? So it's like you have to build, focus on trust, focus on connection in the DMs. And then you might get to a space where they actually are vulnerable enough to open up about deep things. Right? Now, after we go through back and forth with Matthew and we're talking about lust, Matthew, when we say something about his self-improvement journey or his journey when it comes to fitness, Jaden actually called me out. He's like, yo, I hate when guys, I don't like the word hate, but I dislike when guys say, how was your fitness journey? That's something that we need to tweak. We need to find another way to say it, but because everyone says it. But let's say we ask Matthew to open up about his, I can't think of better words right now, but fitness journey, right? He's going to be opening up on a deeper level, right? Because you guys already started deep, right? He's not going to give you no dry responses, right? He's going to be willing to go a lot deeper with you. And it's because of the content that you posted, right? So all I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that if we post the right content, the whole process will be a lot smoother, bro. Not only that, but you're going to attract guys that are actually going to come in ready to work. The biggest thing that I seen was Zenith. And I'm going to use my business because you guys are business owners. I want to level with you guys, business owner to business owner, right? The biggest thing I've seen with Zenith is when I used to post content that was like flashy, the cars, the lifestyle, right? The thing is, I would get a lot of guys in here, right, that you guys don't see today, and it's for a reason, that are half in, half out, wishy-washy, right? Guys that say they want it, they don't actually want it. They want the cars, the money, you know what I'm saying? The things that come with the business, right? Which is not bad, but your intentions cannot lie there because you won't last. I'm telling you guys, you will not last. right? And the thing is, I had to ultimately look inwards and be like, okay, why are these guys getting into Zenith? Like, how are they even here? Why are these the only guys that I'm attracting? And ultimately, it all goes back to your content. What you post is what you attract, quite frankly, right? The moment you start posting deeply transformative content, you're going to find guys that want to make change in their life, right? But if you post the flashy, the cars, the aesthetic, all that stuff, which is not bad because I still do that, quite frankly, but there's a lot of emotional and there's a lot of emotion attached to my personal brand now. If you guys look through my Instagram, you guys watch my YouTube, right? And with that being said, I'm attracting a lot more wholesome people, if you will, believers, you know, that are actually here to go hard and work. Anthony, a pure example. He's the latest member that joined Zenith. This guy's a dog, right? He's hitting me up, asking what he can do better, right? Asking great questions. He always comes doing what he was supposed to do that week. He doesn't come up and, Nigel, what do you think about that? No, he comes with results. I don't want to hear what you guys are doing. I want to see it, right? And he's someone that does it. I'm going to post to YouTube in 30 minutes. It's posted. Link sent into Discord, right? He's the latest member. That's the bare minimum now. That's the bar. That's the standard, right? And ultimately, I'm saying all this to you guys is because you guys don't want to attract people that are just in it for I want to say almost even a guarantee is nice. Obviously, you want to guarantee people results for sure, but you want to have people in your program because they genuinely want change, right? So ultimately, if we post deeply transformative content, we are going to attract those people, right? And that is what I have to start doing inside my own personal brand to start attracting people that are actually here to work. They're actually here to build businesses that are sustainable and have longevity. People that are actually here to go through the hard times and work out the kinks so they can become warriors of Christ, warriors that can actually go through the toughest of tough times. You get what I'm trying to say? This is more than just about making money. This is about becoming the man that you always wanted to be. I hope you guys realize that by now, right? But anyways, you attract what you post is ultimately what we're trying to say. Next thing, YouTube. So the date where your audience gets to know you. YouTube as a deeper engagement platform, which I told you is longer form. You can get into more depth. YouTube enables the audience to know your brand beyond initial interest through longer form content, which is key. That longevity that you can have on YouTube compared to Instagram is literally not even comparable, right? You guys think about your reels and trying to condense that information in not only the shortest amount of words, but also the most entertaining way you can put it. There's a lot of thought when it comes to the packaging and YouTube. There still is thought behind the packaging, but you don't have to condense information, right? You can say everything you want to say, right? Therefore, even connecting with people even deeper, right? So building familiarity and trust. Consistent posting 3 times a week is like, I want you guys to aim honestly with your YouTube 2 to 3 videos a week, either the start and the end of the week, or you guys get to the point where you're consistent with that. Aim for 3 videos a week. You're posting one start, middle, end of week, right? You guys may be getting on my butt because you haven't seen a YouTube video from me. My mentor is having me post every single day. The only reason I haven't started yet is because he just flamed me, and I need to get a thumbnail editor because my ICP, they wants to see like sophisticated, I'm gonna say packaging, if you will, right? I'm attracting entrepreneurs. You guys are attracting different type of people, right? So, anyways, sharing personality, values, and expertise, showcasing your unique traits and knowledge builds credibility. It speeds up the conversion cycle, just like we were talking about earlier. All of this stuff I already explained to you guys earlier because I went off into a rabbit hole and started sharing all this information early. But I'll say it again, showcasing your unique traits and knowledge builds credibility, speeds up the conversion cycle, speeds up the connection cycle. Deep content speeds up the trust cycle, right? Guiding prospects towards buying decisions. We're guiding them. That's a key word, guiding them. What we don't want to do, and which a lot of us might be doing right now, is getting people on calls prematurely, meaning word premature, like before they're ready, right? They haven't consumed enough of your content to the point where they're hopping on sales calls. And it's like, we actually have to be A plus at selling to actually get these people into our program. My job is to help you guys make that process a lot smoother. The only way we can make that smoother is by making content that builds so much trust and connection that you show up like guys like me, where you're on the call and you're ready to just give your numbers. You know what I'm trying to say? You already know what you want because the content that you've conceived, the content that you've watched, has already allowed you to build trust and connection with the person on the other side of the screen. The coach, Alex Stan, right? David Park, Ivan Compress, right? You already have trust. You already have a relationship with them. You're just here to spend. You know what you're buying, right? You know why? Because there's so much trust and connection built in your content. Now, like I was saying, if we don't post deeply transformative content, we're really relying on our sales skills because people are coming prematurely, right? And they don't even know if you are what they want to buy. And ultimately, this is a process. Like a lot of you guys are still going to be hopping on, if you will, premature calls because you don't have the long form and all your ecosystem built out yet. But that's our goal. That's what we're aiming for, is to post content so deep, so transformative that people pull up the calls already knowing who we are, what we stand for, what we're about, how we do what we do, and what results we get, so they're only there to buy. That's the biggest thing. My mentor, and sorry if this is a lot for you guys to take in, but like I said, I want to start treating you guys like you guys are business owners. You know what I'm saying? But my mentor was telling me the other day there's two types of businesses. There's the marketing engine, right? And then there's the sales engine, right? As you guys can tell, the sales engine business is completely reliant on sales, how good their sales teams are, their closer is, their offer is, their guarantee. Um, they rely on those factors, right? But you see guys like Iman, you see guys like Alex Hormozi, guys that built so much trust, so much connection to the point where they can sell water slides and they can sell out. People just want what they have. You know why? Because they built so much trust and they focus on connecting through their content that people just want what they have. People never heard of SMMA in their life until they met Iman, but since they like Iman so much, they're going to give it a shot. They're going to buy his program. You know why? Because he has a connection, a marketing engine based business, right? And like I said, on the other side of the spectrum, we have the guys that run sales based businesses. They pump loads of money into ads, which none of you guys really have the assets for, right? Loads of money into ads and are completely reliant on offers, right? They're guaranteed, their ad spend, right? Which isn't a bad thing. It works for a lot of people, quite frankly. But all you guys here, I know you guys want to build something with longevity and sustainability, and you guys also want to have a name for yourself, right? Now, what comes with those guarantees and all those sorts of things are chargebacks, people refunding, etc. All right? But that's later down the line for you guys. But I want you guys to understand what you're building, right? So ultimately, what we're aiming for is to build a market engine business, right? One that is literally focused on content, but because we're focused on content, guess what? Everything else comes smoothly, right? We attract the right person. The sales process is seamless because people already show up to calls with trust and connection formulated, right? Everything is smooth, right? Another thing that happens with premature buyers is they also come in with a lot of, it's like you have to rewire their brain because they never got the time to consume your content. They never got the time to build trust. They never got to like you, right? So now when you get them on sales calls and you convince them to get into your program, it's like they're there before they even really knew you. And now you have to sort of prove to them. And when you tell them to do something, it's like, oh, bro, this coach over here, this mentor told me to do, you have to deal with all that. And you have to unwire their brain, basically unscramble your headphones. If you guys ever done that before, I know you guys all have. It's practically the same thing. And you have to rewire them, right? For them to actually start implementing what you tell them. You know why? Because they're there prematurely. All right, but that's later down the line with you guys. I might be confusing you guys, but I want to give you guys the same sauce that I'm getting. The same sauce that I invested and I got, I want to give to you guys just because you guys are here. Right? I'm preparing you guys for the future. But anyways, I'll ask right now before we continue, is there any questions that you guys want to fire at me? Just while we're here, because there is 4 more slides that we're going to get to, or 3 more slides that we're going to get to. You guys go ahead, raise your hand. And
So as long as we make content that's just like emotional, but like really just says a lot about our journey and really just ultimately just connects on that emotional level besides just posting just other types of content. That's the way just to make it a whole lot simpler for the sales.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to reiterate that. Say that one more time.
So pretty much like content that we make that's, for example, like about like how, like, like the breakup or whatnot, or whatever that you've gone through to get to where you are today through fitness. That's what's going to get like the results.
See, to help expedite the trust and the connection process, and in focusing on trust, you expedite the conversion process, right? And I'm not telling you guys all this to completely leave fitness out of the equation, but just like you tied it in, that's a good example, right? Make sure that fitness is always a part of it, because at the end of the day, you guys
Right.
are fitness coaches. We can't just go and you start just posting mindset videos without fitness tied to it, right? You guys always want to do your due diligence and tie fitness to whatever the equation is, right? That's your constant variable. Make sense? Answer your
Yeah,
question,
actually.
right? Alex Guzman, one thing I will tell you, bro, I'm calling you out. You need to get your physique in tip top shape, bro.
Yeah.
You need to dial in on your physique for sure, bro. All
Hmm.
right, that's your biggest focus. I
Yeah.
want you to focus on. All right,
Yeah, for sure.
all right. Practical steps to implement this relationship building strategy. So study your current content, review Instagram and YouTube channel analytics, identify what is working and what isn't working. This is something you guys already should know and what you should be doing. Looking at your metrics on a daily basis. All right, develop tailored messaging. Like I was saying before, create specific curated messages on your ICP to make your videos more memorable and trustworthy. The deeper you go, the more you're building connection, the more trust you're earning from someone, right? If we can be the deepest video they see all day, the one that understood them the absolute best, but we did our job right. That point, guess what? We're irreplaceable. We go disappearing, God forbid, they're missing us, right? Maintain consistent, and even when it comes to your stories, think about it. But your followers, like, you post story, connecting with them, understanding them, and you're gone. Yo, where's Nigel's story at, bro? Where this guy go? You know what I'm saying? They're thinking. That's why consistency is also a big thing. So maintain consistent communication. Post reels and stories daily, YouTube videos 3 to 2 times a week to nurture relationships and build trust over time. So I want you to think about it like this. Imagine we're talking to a girl. We're in a talking stage, and then boom, we go disappearing. We go ghost. As a lot of you guys have done, probably. Right? I hope not. But we've been there. Right? We go ghost for 2 weeks. You think we're gonna come back and everything's just gonna be a-okay? She's gonna be like, "Hey, where'd you go?" You know what I'm saying? Nah, nah. And if she does, bro, you better marry that girl. I'm not gonna lie, right? But we broke that trust, and we got to do what we got to do to build that back up again. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I was locked in, you know what I'm saying? You got to build that trust back again. It's gonna take damn near a month, year. You know what I'm saying? So consistency is key, right? Making sure we're hitting all of our targets each and every single day, right? Measure engagement and conversions. Track likes, comments, and inbound DMs to see what is working, what isn't, right? Let's say we get an influx of inbound DMs, and it just so happens to be around the time when we talked about lust in the gym. Chances are that's probably a good topic. We should double down on it. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing that my mentor has been teaching me, and it's called the. Let me actually pull it up in Slack. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yo, I love being able to push you guys on this. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's called the Blitzkrieg. The Blitzkrieg? Yeah, okay. The Blitzkrieg method. And you guys can search it up. Blitzkrieg is essentially like um, a technique the Army used. I think it was the US military. I'm not sure during what war they used. So initially, when armies would deploy soldiers, would deploy just their troops, it would be why like why you know what I'm trying to say. You would go, you deploy all your guys, and it would go attack. You guys can't really see because it's sort of looking weird, but they would attack like this, right? Now, what they did and why they call it Blitzkrieg is because what they would do, at least what they did this one time, is they found the weakest point, right? So let's say, can you guys see my full arm length or not really? Here, let's see. Oh, you guys can? I'm tripping. Oh, there we go. So it's
Kind
like
of.
this. So look, right? Now in the Blitzkrieg, what they did was they found the weakest point within the defensive line, which would be ultimately where my fingers are, the disconnect. And what they did, they took all their troops and they just blitzed it like this. Right? You guys find an opening, you find a weak point in your content where it works, you get that influx of likes, influx of followers, influx of inbound leads. Guess what you got to do? You got to blitz it, right? And he says you have 72 hours. Well, the 21st 24 hours are the best moments. You have 72 hours to ultimately understand and replicate what you just did, right? Taking the same messaging, let's say we talked about lust, we would do, we wouldn't say the exact same thing over again or post the same video, but we'd take the same message and we do it again, right? How lust is stopping your gains in the gym. You know what I'm saying? We would do it again, right? And ultimately, we would double down on what works so that all of our troops can get through and we can get the most out of that breakthrough, right? And ultimately, you just keep doing it until it stops working, right? If you guys scroll back in my content, this is something I was doing without even thinking about it, right? And at the time, yes, I was focused on followers and views and etc., but I was doing what was working, bro. I was literally running the fitness game that way, right? Figuring out what works and double down on, right? And when it went dry, I would go and I would find the next thing, the next weakest point, and I'll double down on. All right. But next, we're gonna go into. Actually, are we done there? We're done there. Jeez, Louise, I could have swore there was more. Dang. Well, all right. Does anyone have any questions about the slideshow? I was gonna do another one, but you guys are gonna be. It's gonna be too much overload for you guys.